All right, let's dive into something really cool today. We're talking about AI, like how AI could totally change how we find life-saving medicines. Faster, cheaper, breakthroughs. Like way faster than we thought possible even a few years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And all of this is because of this really interesting algorithm from MIT.
Oh, I know what we're talking about.
Sparrow, right.
Yeah, Sparrow.
Okay, so you know how drug discovery takes forever?
Oh, tell me about it.
And it's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine trying to find like one specific grain of sand
Out of all of them,
on a beach that goes on forever.
it's even tougher than that. We're not looking for any grain of sand. It's got to be the one with the exact right stuff to like fight a specific disease. And then on top of that, we got to figure out how to make a ton of it affordably.
Yeah, so it's not just finding it, it's like recreating it a million times over.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's where Sparrow comes in, right?
Right.
So it's like Sparrow is this algorithm that uses, it's called machine learning, which is a type of AI. And it looks at a ton of data, like a huge amount of data about different molecules and how they're made.
Yeah, it's like having a super detective, but for chemistry, you know? Instead of solving crimes, it's solving how to make new drugs.
And the really cool part, from what I understand, is that it's super focused on cost.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that makes Sparrow so unique is how it hones in on cost.
But it factors in everything, right?
It factors in all of it, like even just the cost of materials. Then you've got every single step in that whole synthesis process.
So it's not just find a molecule that works.
Yeah.
It's find the one that we can actually make.
It has to be feasible, right? We can't have it cost $1 billion per,
Exactly. And that's what I think is so crazy, is that it doesn't just say, hey, this molecule. It's like, here's how you make it. And by the way, here's the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't just point you in the right direction. It's like, here's the map and here are the shortcuts.
Okay, but how? Like, how does it actually do that?
So deep down, it uses something called a cost function.
Okay.
And that takes all those costs we were talking about, materials, steps, even how likely it is that the reaction, actually works, and it crunches it all down into a single number.
Oh, wow.
Then Sparrow takes that number, compares different ways of making the molecule, and figures out the absolute cheapest way to get there.
And so it's basically doing like mental gymnastics at super speed. It's like doing the work of a whole team of chemists, but in like a fraction of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
No wonder they call it a game changer.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some real world stuff.
Can you give me an example, like one of those case studies from the article?
Okay, yeah. There's this molecule, it's called halicin. And they actually found this one using a different AI, which is interesting.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, halicin, they thought it could be a really good antibiotic. But, figuring out how to actually make it without spending a fortune was the tricky part.
I bet. New antibiotics are so hard to develop, and the cost is a huge factor.
Huge. So researchers, they fed Sparrow all the data on halicin.
Let's see what you got.
Right. And what's so wild is that Sparrow, it found this pathway to synthesize it that was way cheaper and faster than what anyone had thought of before. It's like it found a shortcut no one even knew existed.
Exactly.
It's kind of like Connor Coley was saying. He's one of the researchers behind Sparrow.
Oh, yeah, I know Connor.
He said, the selection of compounds is very much an art at the moment.
It really is, though, when you think about it. Like, you need that human touch.
But we can and should be using information to guide our decisions.
Exactly. That's what Sparrow is all about. It's like he totally gets it. It's not that, like, human experience doesn't matter, and drug discovery, it totally does. But Sparrow lets us use that experience, but with the power of AI behind it.
And that gets us to better decisions faster.
Way faster and cheaper.
Which is huge. This isn't just about like scientists in a lab. This is real world stuff.
This affects everybody. Think about it. If we can make finding new drugs way cheaper, then more people can actually get them.
Because right now, cost is the biggest problem.
For so many people, it is. But imagine a future where that's not true anymore.
That's what's so cool. It could change everything about healthcare.
You really could.
But okay, the article also mentioned that Sparrow could be used for other things too, not just medicine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is just the start.
Right, like what we've been talking about, it's just one piece of what Sparrow can do.
Because if you think about it, it's really good at taking huge amounts of data, finding what works best, and then figuring out how to make it happen.
Okay, so give me some examples.
Yeah.
Where else could Sparrow be useful?
Well, take agriculture. Like, what if we could use it to find new crops that can handle, climate change and stuff?
Right, like actually solving some of the big problems.
Exactly. Or what about fertilizers that actually work and don't wreck the environment?
Okay, that would be huge.
Right. Or how about material science? Like, what if we could use Sparrow to find totally new materials with properties we haven't even thought of?
Like stronger, lighter.
Or sustainable?
Imagine what that would do for, like, construction
Yeah.
or transportation.
It could change everything.
It's like Sparrow is this Swiss Army knife of science. Is there anything it can't do?
It's not magic, haha.
Right, right.
But it does change how we think about discovering stuff. Like, we can combine what humans are good at with what AI is good at.
So we can find solutions we couldn't see before.
Exactly. And not just see them, but figure out how to actually make them happen
In a way that makes sense.
in a way that's actually doable. Which brings up another question. What other scientific mysteries could Sparrow solve? What other roadblocks could it break through?
It's like we found this amazing tool and we're just getting started.
Totally. And the best part is, this isn't just, like, theoretical. Sparrow is already getting real results.
Right, it's actually working.
Yeah, like with those drug discoveries we were talking about, and who knows what else it can do.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think the big takeaway here is that Sparrow, it's not just about solving one problem. It's
Yeah.
about, like, a totally new way of doing science.
We're seeing a huge change happening, and it's really exciting.
It is. So that brings up another thought, If Sparrow can help us find new medicines faster and change how we do agriculture and even discover totally new materials, what else could it do? Like, what other scientific mysteries could it help us solve?
Yeah, what roadblocks could it break through that we haven't even thought of yet?
Exactly. And that's where you come in, listeners.
What are you excited about?
What scientific breakthroughs are you most curious about? And do you think Sparrow could help us get there?
Let us know. You can find the full article about Sparrow in our show notes. Check it out and tell us what you think.
Yeah, we want to hear your ideas.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.